what I want to do with this car is I want to be able to have this entire front radiator support from here to here to here, all the way back on the other side, totally removable. So that means that all the spot welds up in here on the frame rail all have to be drilled out, and then they have to be replaced with nut certs and bolts, which is fine, that's no big deal. But today I want to replace, or do as much as I can to get to where I can replace it in another day. I know it's going to be a whole day because next weekend I pull this motor out, and I'd like to just pull it straight out the front without this core support being in the way. That's the fastest and easiest way for me to remove it. Now that brings into the question of how does the wiring harness work. So you have two options there. You can either disconnect everything, the headlights and all the wiring, and then pull the whole thing off, or I can put a main big connector like Garagistic did on their ride up right on the side, and then run everything to that connector, untwist it, and just pull the whole front end with the headlights and all connect it. So I'd like to do that, but for now this harness has to come out of the way. All this junk has to get out of my face so I can actually work on it, and then I can start taking apart or picking at all these spot welds that keep it bolted to the frame and the chassis. Let's get to it. So overall, not bad. Not bad at all. I just need to grind these out, paint them. That's where it sits. This is what the other side looks like with the, what are they called? Spot bit drills. These are a little bent up, but that's fine. I think I'm gonna fold these in, maybe box the ends of this, clean it up all nice and good. Probably put on some rubber, and then so I can isolate on the chassis rail. That turned out pretty clean, honestly. It's incredibly difficult removing this stuff. here we go. So all I did was I added some tabs right here. They should be cooled down. Tigged them on. My TIG is okay. I'm learning. This stuff is super thin, so it's a real pain. So this tab already existed. I added this one. Hopefully it'll be strong enough. I was really looking at it and considering, should I reinforce it? But if I reinforce it with a gusset here, that could get in the way of my intercooler. And if I were to branch across here, I don't know that would really help. So I kind of looked at it and said, I'll try it out. So same thing over here. And then I added these, which are just, I think they're like 18 gauge, mild steel, capped off the ends. So this end sits flush on that inside corner right there. Same thing over there. And my plan is we're just gonna get it up there and then drill small holes, probably 2 up here, through both the body and the new removable core support. Same thing right here, 2 on each. Maybe even 1, but probably 2. And then I have some riv nuts that I'll riv nut in, and we'll just bolt this in, and it'll be able to be removed without taking out the headlights, without taking out the wiring harness, that sort of thing. The intercooler will obviously have to come out because it's going to be in the way of this. I considered putting it behind it, but then I didn't want to remove this tab to add another tab, so I just left it and then put it in front. Because maybe if I need some more strength, I can go and put maybe 1 bolt through the front, 1 bolt through the rear, something like that. But very cool.
For too long, no one else was watching us. You and me, we were in love. Every single day we passed, I felt so much. I was in your mind, searching for lips, searching for truth. I couldn't let you go without a request or even a task. Don't let me never be alone again, alone again. Don't let me never be alone again, alone again, alone again.
Here we are. We have the riv nuts up here, support that top bit, 2 there, the ones down here, 2 there, 2 there, paint's still wet, the one's up there, boom. Now that's all it needs. I've done some work on this that I want to show you just to wrap it up. The extra bits, this used to come out like that. I trimmed all that off so it fits flush. It's not really structural anymore. I wasn't connecting them like this. Doesn't need to be here if I don't want it to be here, but it gets covered up anyway. And I trimmed the bolts. I used to have longer bolts going through there. Trimmed all that down. It looks good down there. I have another bolt back here. So there's 2 bolts here, 2 bolts there, 4 bolts on each side, so a total of 8 bolts hold this thing in, making it very sturdy. And it fits exactly where it was, because as I was doing it, I was lining up the spot drills that I'd already drilled with the spot drills on the actual core support, so everything fit up right where it was from factory. I might have to do the tiniest bit of adjusting for the hood, but I'm not worried about it. So this is a good project for anyone who's going to be pulling the motor out a bunch. I know I have to pull mine out in so many thousand miles, so many heat cycles, because it's all ARP. It's just a lot of effort, a lot of labor, but in the end I think it's worth it to save yourself the trouble of trying to pull that motor up and out. I mean, if you save your 1 core support because you don't smash it with your oil pan and do something like that, or cut your harness trying to pull it out by accident, then it's definitely worth it in my opinion. And there's no real parts that you need other than this stuff. Those riv nuts and things like that, you can get them anywhere, but I'll put my Amazon link for what I bought in the description for anyone interested. But other than that, it's just really handy to have access to a welder. I use TIG on here and MIG on the sides, or someone who can weld it for you. It's not really a big deal at all. They shouldn't charge you an arm and a leg for it, as long as you kind of map out where you want it and then just have them finish it up for you. I've seen people do it without a welder, because when you drill out the spot welds, you still have the holes there, so you could do like a couple bolts here where the spot welds were and just do the riv nuts. You just need a drill and the riv nut gun. But I like the way I did it because it's tucked up under there and it's kind of easy to access, but you don't really see it. Like this will be covered up by the intercooler and this will be covered up by the radiator. So to get this out, I pull the radiator, and then probably I can maybe slide in there with a wrench and get this out. Maybe have to shorten it, but you won't see it. It'll be nice. Other than that, guys, you know the drill. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. Gets covered up by the fender there. Look at that freaking tire. Thanks for watching, guys.
There goes a sight from my soul.